Gervonta Tank Davis is saving boxing. I honestly think, guys, that he's the #1 fighter in the world. I'm not saying, he beats everybody in the world. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he beats Terrence Crawford, he beats Canelo Alvarez. Of course not. But I do think that his style, his personality, and just everybody around his weight class, him having history with a lot of the guys like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, having that legendary mega fight with Ryan Garcia, maybe not a legendary outcome. Ryan Garcia obviously, kind of showing that he wasn't on Tank's level on that night, but you guys know how I feel about the rehydration clause and the catch weight playing a role and all that. So all respect to Tank Davis. I really do enjoy, his presence in the sport of boxing. And, as you guys can probably tell by the title of this video, I believe that Tank is giving boxing, life right now. He's the reason why boxing is still relevant at all, because although there are so many other great fighters, I could name everybody. I could name Usyk, Inoue, Terrence Crawford, Bam Rodriguez. There's so many great fighters in the sport of boxing today, but very few of them are doing what Tank is doing, in the fact that they're putting on a show. They're backing up what they say, and what they say is interesting in the press conferences, right? You have guys like Ryan Garcia, obviously similar in that way, very entertaining, backs up his talk, but the PEDs, the Austrian, who knows, whatever you guys may think about that, that's your guys' opinion. I always say, I still think Ryan Garcia is a talented fighter. I want to see him in the sport again, but obviously I can't, see him pass another test where he tests positive for a PED. If that happens again, then I think all validity of his skill, his strength career goes out the window, and I think he's gonna get booted from the sport. But with that being said, a guy like Tank Davis never testing positive and always coming out on top against all of his opponents. But we're still waiting on that big test for Tank Davis. We heard about the Lamont Roche fight. Now we're hearing maybe it's not a sure thing. Tank said it was a sure thing, but now I'm not too sure about what's going to happen with that fight. And I have that theory that they're not getting the uproar, and people aren't excited about Tank and Lamont Roche the way that Tank's team thought they would be. And to me, that's a little bit surprising, because why would anybody be excited about a 130 pounder coming up to 35 and fighting Tank? Tank's already beating all the contenders at 35, so why would we want to see a guy coming up from 30 to fight Tank? We want to see Tank in those fights against Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, the Ryan Garcia rematch, those fights. But obviously Shakur is the main fight that I want to see, because Shakur is the only one at 35 that I want to see Tank fight. Lomachenko fight, the Vasily Lomachenko fight is great for Tank, but there's already built-in excuses there. Lomachenko has denied that fight. He's declined it, walked away from the table saying, hey, you could have got me, a few years back. Now you want to get me when I'm old. I got one foot out the door. Already talked about retirement, not wanting to fight. He only fought Kambosos because, he did it for his father. So those are the kinds of things you hear. And, just hearing that alone, as great as a fighter as Lomachenko is or was, if we ever see him again, who knows. But he, as good as he was, we don't want to see him in a fight with Tank if he's not 100% up for it, if he's not 100% motivated to get in the ring against Tank. Will that fight happen? I'm not sure, but I think, Tank's wanted that fight. Tank wanted that Lomachenko fight for sure, because he knew that was a notable name. And at this point in Tank's career, and at this point in Vasily Lomachenko's career, that fight was, made to just take Lomachenko's name and put it on Tank's resume, because I don't think Lomachenko at this point in his career beats Tank Davis. 4 or 5 years ago, it's a different fight, but now I don't think Lomachenko beats Tank. I think Tank would make Loma run into something, just the way that, Lomachenko, in my opinion, he's always been a solid 30 pounder, but when he got to 35 and he faced, the physically stronger guys, the guys that could hit a little bit harder, he struggled. So I think Tank Davis is a very rough night for Vasily Lomachenko. And honestly, out of respect, I wouldn't want to see Lomachenko go out that way. So I don't mind not seeing that fight. Don't get me wrong, it'd be a great fight, but I'm not mad at Lomachenko for declining the Tank offer, because at the end of the day, he's already accomplished, a decent amount in the sport of boxing, and he's getting up there in age. He's got a lot going on with the war in Ukraine and all that. So I wouldn't hate Lomachenko. I wouldn't call him a duck for not fighting Tank Davis. I think at this point in his career, who are you to or who am I to tell Lomachenko, you know, get in the ring with Tank? You know, I'm not the one taking these punches. I'm not the one that has to go back to his family in Ukraine and explain to them why, you know, your face looks busted, why you got a concussion, or you're, you know, years down the line you're suffering from brain damage or CTE. Like, it's not my place. It's not the fans' place to tell Loma to get in the ring with Tank. That's up to Lomachenko. If he does it, great. If not, you know, totally understandable. But at this point, you know, where he's already accomplished a lot. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Who do you guys want to see Tank up against next? Because I want to see the Shakur fight. Obviously, Shakur has a hand injury, but I wouldn't mind seeing Tank in there with Ryo, Devin Haney, anybody really. You know, Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall at 140. Like he could beat up a lot of guys at 140. I think he's just going to be very strategic about it. But I would like to see Tank in a big fight. I don't think that's crazy to say. Approaching 30, Tank is one of my favorite fighters, but I'll be real with you. He's got to fight a notable name. Or, you know, it's like when Tank's your favorite fighter, you start to say, you know, let's see a big fight now. You start to look at your watch and say, approaching 30, let's make a big fight happen. Let's get the Shakurs of the world. Let's get Devin Haney. Let's get Teofimo. All those guys we said we wanted to get. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. That's what I want to see as a Tank fan, as somebody who really appreciates what he does. I want to see him in a big fight where he's not, you know, undermatched, where it's a competitive fight, and we want to see, you know, him really convincingly prove that he's the best against the best. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next Navs boxing video. Peace.
That's going to do it for another Navs Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.